Hi, I'm Kyle. I've seen a lot of movies, but I haven't seen Dracula. Specifically, Bram Stoker's Dracula and the Francis Ford Coppola one. I don't know if there's any others, but I know there's other movies that use Bram Stoker's Dracula as reference. This one has Gary Oldman and Anthony Hopkins, Keanu Reeves, reading the box, Winona Ryder, before. That's literally all I know is the actors in it. It's Dracula, so I know it's a Dracula story, and it's Bram Stoker's Dracula, so I know it's the core Dracula story. Probably very British, probably all, creepy. So yeah, let's get this going. I'm going to watch 5 minutes of it. I'm going to guess some things, I'm going to make some opinions, and then I'm going to watch the rest of the minutes. Let's do this. Welcome back. I watched 5 minutes of this movie so far, which means I got to see Gary Oldman get very distraught, and Winona Ryder being Winona Ryder with her bland face. No, I'm just kidding. It's bland acting. It's strange. It's just strange. It made it look like it's an older movie, but it's because it's based off of older things. But so everything's just kind of paced weirdly. But like I said, Gary Oldman was already it showed him as Count Dracula over there doing his thing with this silhouette battle where he's picking dudes up with a spear nothing, letting them slide down the spear. It's pretty cool visuals. His acting had a lot you could see emotion in it, even though it was just a dark room with some weird old dudes on the crosses. The great thing is Keanu Reeves has a British accent in this. It's great. I don't think I've ever heard him make that voice ever, and he probably stopped doing it after this because it's just he's Tiny Tim British. It's oh, yes, we do want food. It's he probably told them he could do a British accent and just winged it the whole time, which good on him. Keanu Reeves he's that kind of guy. I would believe that because he's great. He's a good filler character actor, and he's been getting better every time. When he actually has the role and he just kind of goes with it, he gets better and better. The only person that truly got better with age, because John Wick is amazing. I can't really predict this movie because I already know what's going to happen in this movie because it's an old story. Bram Stoker's Dracula is a classic. He's the guy that's settling estates. He's just there to be part of he's the witness, while other people are bound to show up. I'm sure Van Helsing and all them will soon appear once Dracula is seen again. So all I can hope is that it keeps kind of going and emphasizing that emotion and all the cool things from the story, just very artfully. Because so far they're just doing that old school camera transition stuff. They're oh, look what we can do with green screens. Oh yeah, I guess they wouldn't even do that. They just melded stuff together. Let me just cut the film here, and then there we go. Now the train's going through the eye of the circle on a feather from a peacock. We did it. Just put it in there. Good job. Just overlay them. So yeah, everything's practical, and they probably had a decent budget because it's Coppola, but it's old school what they did with budget. So it's just more people cutting things together and building shit. So good for them. So yeah, I can't wait to see the costume design and everything and the makeup and all that for Dracula because they won an Academy Award for it, for both of those things. I figured they were going to focus on the big dinner party thing, kind of where he sees the dude, the wife somehow gets to there or something and realizes that she's been reincarnated and he's trying to make her have her memories back or turn her into his old wife that committed suicide, because that was the whole reason for the curse in the old story. So like, they can only assume some kind of either dinner party, or they go to Britain, something like that, where he's going to then try to seduce the woman, and try to gain his youth back. He granted to gain his youth back, seduce the woman, and then also be trying to, like, Van Helsing's going to try to kill him. Those are the things that I remember from the book. There's a lot more things, but in the movie, as it's presented so far, they're going to do the whole, like, there's my wife, who has been reincarnated. Now I will give her back her soul, and she will be mine forever. Together we will be in the darkness, and blah, blah, blah. And then Van Helsing's going to be like, snake, bitch! And, yeah. And that's about as much as I can think of that would probably be in this. See it in another hour and 2 hours. The beginning of this movie, in which I watched the first 5 of, I was actually kind of excited. It was like a B level, I would say. Everything was cool. It was very stylized, and basically it's because it was just Gary Oldman, and then the rest of the movie had other people that I can't even, like, I remember the Texan guy as Tex. Nobody else stood out at all except for Anthony Hopkins. Both Anthony Hopkins and Gary Oldman did well. They did what they're supposed to do. Anthony Hopkins was a great eccentric Van Helsing. Just kind of said things out in these nice, cool, nicely paced dialogue where it was caught you off guard as he talked. But the movie dragged in parts that it didn't drag. Like, it felt way longer than 2 hours. Because there was just pointless, just long parts. It's like, look how we're decided to be a vampire. He's a werewolf. Like, they loved dressing Gary Oldman. Gary Oldman must have had a hard time. Because they put him in, like, 1,900 different, like, outfits and monster formations. And he's just all over the place. And he still just did it. He did everything. He turned into a literal giant vampire bat at one point. And then a pile of rats. So that was all cool. But, like, there's just part where they're drinking absinthe and just, like, talking quietly in a loud room about nothing. Just nothing. Just, like, he says something and she goes, I remember that. And he's like, how do you remember that? And because it's in my memory of faintness and lovingness. Whoa. I fell in love with you in 3 days because you're a fucking weirdo. So, yeah, that the whole part with the girl that gets turned into a vampire for no reason, just to show that he can turn people into vampires, even though they already showed that with the 3 vampires that are classically in the Dracula tales, the 3 women that he always has with him for whatever reason, happens in, like, several ones. Even the Van Helsing movie with the dude that played Wolverine over there, like, which was another mess. Like, they still had the 3 women. Like, it's just, that's the thing. That's a staple item. There's a lot of staple things in that from the book, and a lot of parts from, you know, the story. I was wrong about, they didn't do the dinner party thing. He literally just traveled to, you know, Carfax. He got his quote, and then he traveled back. All within, like, that, you know, half-hour span, which made it seem like they were there for months. The way they, like, I guess that's what was supposed to happen. Keanu Reeves went through varying states of gray. He was dying of an unknown disease. He was apparently draining him, caused him to die. I know what they were doing. It was very much, a lot of it was like, basically, they made Dracula Satan, and all the things around them were dying because of the darkness of unholiness and all that stuff. And then once you know, he was okay with God again, everything, the castle healed, and then they killed him anyway. Could have been great. It had a lot of great things. Gary Oldman was excellent. Hopkins was excellent. Everybody else was there. Yeah, I mean, Winona Ryder when you could understand what she was saying, was just kind of like talking like she's supposed to be talking to someone behind. You know, Gary Oldman telling him a secret about the thing she dreamt about last weekend. Like, she doesn't make any sense. She just kind of stares off. The other people, it didn't matter. It was just like, I actually felt like Dracula was the good guy in this story at the end of it, because they just seem like dicks. They're like, well, I wanted to fuck that one girl. Well, so did I. And it's like, Dracula turned her into a vampire. Let's kill her. Oh, it's like, yeah, he did. That's true. You should kill her, but you guys don't deserve happiness because you're all horrible people that are like all circling around a woman like wolves around a fresh deer kill. Weirdos. Everything was just ugh. Like, the only thing that was somewhat like sincere love was with Keanu and I forgot her name. Ryder. Winona Ryder and Keanu, they were kind of okay in the beginning, and then she just completely lost love with him immediately after she drank some absinthe and rubbed on a wolf. So, I mean, those are things, guys, keep that in mind. If you tame a wild wolf and then get someone drunk on absinthe, they're yours. Doesn't matter. They'll start remembering things they don't actually remember. Like, that's not even from their life. Yep, in the end, I felt like Dracula shouldn't have got killed because he was the reason I kept watching the movie. He was the only really good part besides Helsing, and everything else was just a lot of jumpiness, weird jumpy cuts, and mashed in uselessness. Stupid chase music with them chasing down the carriage. It's like, just come on now, what is this, an old spaghetti western? It was just such weird, poorly chosen things. But overall, it was not good. It was just me enjoying Gary Oldman being Gary Oldman, and then all kinds of other things were in the way of me enjoying that. So it brought it down, like a C-D range. Like, if it wasn't for Gary Oldman and Anthony Hopkins, like, doing, like, cool parts, I missed all the parts that were good were just Gary Oldman's, like, they did all kinds of cool stuff with the shadows, and he would, like, be hung up, like, he would just kind of, like, float across the ground and shit. Like, it was awesome. He's, like, crawling on the walls, and then it just cuts over to stupid, like, there's literally parts where I was, like, starting to doze, and then they come back on screen, and he's just like, hey, and I'm like, alright, good, I just keep going. And then I just got bored again. And then we got back to the cool castle at the end, and didn't get to see any more of the cool castle. They had, like, moving walls and stuff that they were doing in the beginning, and then at the end he's like, I'm gonna die at the place we started the movie at, and it's gonna turn gold. Cut my head off. I'm done. Let's watch another horror movie. So, there you have it. It's a movie. You're not gonna watch it. Especially if you take my advice. Just don't. Happy Halloween.